This is the perfect time to talk about something that, a lot of people don't want to talk about, which is money. They want money, but they sure as heck don't want to save money. They don't want to be on a budget. They don't want to specifically enough look at money and look at their finances every day. I remember Grant Cardone says every day he goes through all his accounts and goes through all his money and checks it. He says it's such an important thing. I remember someone telling me that, and that's a great piece of advice. My guest today is Michael Kern. He's going to talk financial literacy. Michael, tell me a little bit about your background and thanks for stopping by.
Well, my background is that I started just like everybody you're describing. And in fact, until recently, I was rowing the boat of ignorance, no financial goals. It was, as an entrepreneur, just make more, make more, make more. Never thought about saving for retirement. But as I'm starting to get older, it's becoming more and more important. So my background is just, I've been self-employed since I was 26 years old, and just figuring it out and hammering away at it. And now as I decide, what direction I want to go, I want to have a purpose, and my purpose is financial literacy.
And that's 100% really good to know that financial literacy. So your background, you're an entrepreneur now. What are you doing? What are your current businesses? Then we'll get right into the financial literacy part.
So I have some coaching businesses. I coach marketing. I didn't realize you were in marketing. I coach the marketing, and I coach small business owners. I do personal development. I coach drug and alcohol. But my bread and butter has always been my pool company, MGK Pools. That's really where I learned business the best. We've been at that now 15 years, and I'm a national distributor of above ground pools. But we're sitting in my office where I also rent U-Hauls. I've got 90,000 square feet of storage. I've got commercial tenants now. But
That's
yeah.
the hustle that you need to be. As I'm multiple streams of revenue. First, it was just media giant marketing. Used to be just me, but now I have a team and I have an agency. That has been the process in the last 6 months building that. Now I have a publishing company. I have a virtual assistant company. I am looking to go into other businesses because I'm a brand and people want to partner with me to try to, because I can get them to the right people. Because I think the hardest part in marketing is the sales part. They get the leads, they don't know what to do with the leads, and they don't know how to convert the leads. But let's talk financial literacy. What tips do you offer individuals and businesses about financial literacy to build their financial literacy?
So it's about education. So we're part of a national movement to educate 30 million people by 2030. So we've got books, we have online courses. We teach five days a week, 3 times a day live, our workshops. We have 7 different workshops from, understanding Social Security, cash flow, managing debt. Debt's a big one. So that's, I lost your question.
But so you're really working with businesses. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
business.
no. So like we're building a new industry where we're like, so like the financial industry as it is, it's like, how much do you have before we work with you? This industry, it's like, you know what? We take people from a negative, right? So come on in, start learning, start reading our books. We've got books and these courses. So we start with people who have absolutely nothing for the most part.
And that's big because when you're able to do that, you teach people the specific things. But I love hearing some of this stuff because again, one thing that they don't tell you in school or when you went for education and you were a former professional wrestler, now I am becoming a pro wrestler again, meaning I'm making my comeback into pro wrestling. I'm also a movie producer. So there's so many different things I wear hats. But when I was saying basically, when you hear these things, cash flow is king to keep a business to scale. You
Amen.
can do it as a solopreneur and grow a pretty good business and into the level of maybe millions because of if you have the greatest idea and a blue ocean strategy. And guess what? But that's very small percentage of people that do that, that have one person business, 15 million, 20 million a year, right? But that's not many.
Yeah.
But really, when you look at cash flow, it's a king that destroys you in seconds because you don't understand. You want to grow? That's great. You're doing really good in revenue. You're making good money. Now you want to duplicate yourself, but then you got to make sure you bring in more business. And then you got to make sure you keep paying, and you got to make sure you keep getting an ROI to grow further.
Mm.
So if you don't really mind your P's and Q's and your cash flow and are spending money on things that are needless, it really can hurt your business quickly, where they're spending too much on marketing. Maybe they're spending too much on workshops. Maybe they're spending too much on their staff. There's just many different things that you teach in your workshop, right? With
Yeah,
financial literacy to,
100%. And those are, again, those are really those are high level business things that we as a coach I teach. Our people, like, we're teaching, like, can you cut down on your streaming services to put a little
oh
money away a
yeah,
month? Can you cut down on, buying the latest gadget? Like, because we're so influenced that you got to have keep up with the Joneses, have the next
newest iPhone every
gadget,
time. And then just to
right?
think you can you finance it, which is a good finance deal, but the problem is they nail you on the taxes.
Yeah,
So you buy a $4,000 device. Oh, cool, I got it free. You're paying out $400 or $500 in cash right off the bat, and you're like, I won. Maybe you didn't.
maybe
You
you
know,
did. Yeah, and so we coach a lot of different ways to watch where that cash flow is going, because cash flow is king. Love Robbie Kiyosaki. I mean, that's
oh, he's. I've had him two times on my show. He's a fantastic guy.
oh, what a
So
blessing. Yeah.
yeah, I no, I've interviewed major celebrities. I mean, I don't know if you went to my list of who I've got had on my show and who I work with on a regular basis. I am one step from any superstar in the world, and
No.
I've interviewed, most of this. But Robert, you're right. He teaches you the whole process, but he isn't about the Dave Ramsey way of
No.
financial literacy.
No. No. No.
That's the BS way. I have my client, Alan Porter from Strategic Wealth Strategies, teaches cash value life insurance. And he talks about specifically enough, you're doing debt free for life. You freaking invest it in something where you're investing throughout the process to pay off all your debt and become your own banker versus, oh, I'm going to keep just paying out my money. And then after I'm done, I'm broke, honey. We can't go anywhere.
That's
You don't,
exactly what we teach, is the cash value life insurance policy way, for security, for growth, for tax-free retirement, for safety, protect your income. Yeah.
is that one of your businesses? Are you a
Yeah.
broker?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm also a life insurance agent licensed by well, 4 states now. But yeah, so
A lot of
that's a huge
different things, but that's really smart to provide that coaching because you're going to find out. And what are you seeing with this economy today? You have to go back to one of my interviews, and he was talking about under the Biden administration, we're not going to go politically, that we are doing much better than we were doing before. And then he did not bring up the inflation part. New jobs, stock market's up, but there's not money for the average person to save that they had before is gone, right? With the cost of food, everything.
100%. And that's one of the things we teach too, is that invisible tax called inflation. And so right now, I'll tell you, one of the things I'm seeing a lot, and I've been promoting it and trying to get the word out. Right now, 10,000 baby boomers a day are retiring, and they've got these 401k plans. The market's at the highest it's ever been. They're
Yeah.
talking about an everything bubble, where the stock market's going to crash, where the real estate's going to crash, where everything's going to go, right? Because you can only pump so much fake money into an economy, right? We're
To make
seeing,
it look like
like
it's a
you
good
said,
economy when it's BS. Right.
yeah, like you said, it's this inflation is out of control. People can't afford to feed their families. So I'm trying to get these baby boomers, right? So when I was raising my kids and they did terrible in school, I used to make them practice the sentence. Would you like some fries with that? And so I'm telling these baby boomers right now that here's a sentence you need to practice. Would you like paper or plastic? Because if they don't get their money out of that market, they're not going to be able to retire. They're going to get cut in half very soon. And what are they going to do? They're going to go bag groceries at the local,
I
supermarket.
think that we need to teach entrepreneurship more and more to people, especially if they've been successful professionals, to start their own businesses afterwards and really figure out they're never going to retire, but find something they love to do versus
Mhm.
doing something to make money for X amount of years, because there's no such thing as going to be a retirement. You're going to at least have a certain amount of cash flow, but you're not going to be able to survive through this. I don't know what's going to happen, but ultimately through what I heard the campaign of administration to keep things the same. They basically are touting all these big things. And I guess the stock market's the one of them, but that's pumping money into it. And that's a concern. But you can't survive. And the average person knows they don't have freaking money in their bank. They don't they just totally do. And I think it's great you have this school for people to go through. I mean, I think this is so important for people. I mean, it's something I wish that you could teach couples. That's why couples, even if couples are staying together now, money is one of the biggest things that causes the problem because they think that, hey, money grows on trees. Thank goodness I'm an entrepreneur that can think about what I want and create it. But when I was working, that wasn't the case. Oh,
No,
no. We're done. We're on a budget. This is the amount as we can get. And I even hustled. But a lot of people aren't hustling second, third jobs, are they?
no, no, they're not. 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. How's that on a relationship?
And then the credit card debt's through the roof.
Through the roof. 10 grand average household is carrying a credit card
Right.
debt.
But the problem is then the rich or semi-rich or the upper middle class semi-rich get approved for so many credit cards and decided, well, I'm just going to use credit cards. Is that to live to keep up with the Joneses and keep going?
Yeah,
And then they'll never have anything left for retirement. I don't know what retirement's going to look like. A lot of things can look differently in 6 months, or they can look the same. We don't know. That's going to
right.
be the interesting part of this. Where can people find info on, I guess, your financial literacy stuff? Where can they go?
So we're on TikTok and Facebook at um holistic something, holistic wellness coach.
Okay.
I
All
believe
right.
it's holistic wellness coach. Yeah. Michael
Great.
Kern. I'm also, you can find me, I'm branded as the mental dieter. So yeah, if you Google mental dieter, you'll get into my ecosystem.
All right. We appreciate it, Michael. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, take care. Nice talking to
All
you.
right. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in